Hello everyone and welcome back to BeamNG.drive. When you play BeamNG, you probably focus on driving and having fun, but after you spend a lot of time in the game, you might get interested in the lore, the history behind the car manufacturers, the maps and the brands. But what you see at first is just the tip of the iceberg, and as you dive deeper into the world of the game, you will realize that there is much more. And that's why today, I brought you the BeamNG.drive lore iceberg.
I feel the power.
But before we continue, I want to talk about AssettoHosting.com. It's a website where you can host your own BeamNG.drive multiplayer, Assetto Corsa, AC Competizione Euro Truck Simulator 2, or American Truck Simulator server for a reasonable price. The servers support a wide range of mods and plugins and have an easy to use web interface where you can also add more users, allowing your friends to upload mods or change the configurations. I've already made a tutorial about creating a BeamNP server with mods. You can find the links in the description, and by ordering a server through my link you also support my work. But now, let's see the iceberg. The sky. Here are the most obvious things. Car brands. You have probably noticed that there are 13 vehicle makers in the game. 6 of them are American, 5 of them are European, and 2 of them are Japanese, and all of them has their own logo. Maps and places. There are different places in BeamNG where you can drive, and even though the name of these maps only tell you the location of them, the towns on these maps have names. For example, in East Coast USA, the town is called Firewood. In West Coast USA, it's called Belasco City. These 2 towns also have their own police liveries. In Italy, you can find several towns such as Castello, Norte or Fastello. The tip of the iceberg. Other brands. You can see a lot of billboards and other type of advertisements in the game. You can also meet some of these brands when you are looking for a rim for your car. Once I tried to count all the brand names like companies, gas stations, car dealerships, movie titles, etc. And I found more than 100 of them, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't counted everything. Lore is extended by the mods. Especially in the past few years, many lore-friendly mods were made for BeamNG. And these mods actually extend the lore of the game with brands like AW, Outrun, Taz and Procyon, which is a luxurious subsidiary of Hirochi. These mods also add new car models for many vanilla car brands, for example the Gabriel Scout or the Hirochi CCF. Background of companies. According to the old documentation of BeamNG, Bernstein is a luxury subsidiary of Gabriel, Solate is a division of Brackel, Hirochi has also produced musical instruments like the Musica Ficta, and Ibishu may produce military vehicles as well. There are also some connections between Belasco City and the racing liveries of the Gabriel Blueback that explain the background story of some businesses there. And it also tells that Bernstein may have been founded by Pete Burnside. And there is also a strange thing on one of the cars. If you spawn the ETK I series, then you can change the lettering on the trunk to 2000, which refers to a 2-liter engine, so the developers probably had a 2-liter, possibly 4-cylinder engine planned for this car, but it didn't end up being included in the game. If you drive around Italy, you can also find out that Civetta was founded by Antonio Civetta. Underwater. Jungle Rock Island. Jungle Rock Island is a weird place in BeamNG. Here you can find a lot of abandoned industrial buildings, and according to the license plate, it's in Hawaii, but if you look closely, you will find some military structures that are not surely American. But if this is a military island, then why is there an unfinished hotel? And why is there an observatory, a port with new-looking containers and some kind of a mine? The island raises many questions, but now I will try to answer them. So our story begins probably before the 20th century, when this castle was built on the island. I assume that this is the oldest building here, But then, in the 1920s and 1930s, roads were built, and also tunnels. One of them was built in 1931. A hotel was also being constructed. Maybe the original plan was converting this island into a tourist place, but they couldn't finish it as the Second World War has started. The observatory was probably also built before the war and was destroyed during the war. Then the Japanese occupied the island. This explains the Japanese-looking military stuff, and they also swept the traffic lanes according to their preferences, as these bus stop signs suggest. And after the war ended, the Americans got the island back and changed the direction of the bus stops, except this one of course. They started mining something on the island, but now they don't do it anymore. Maybe it was some dangerous chemical that got banned. Everything has been abandoned except the port. I mean, the buildings here are definitely abandoned, but the containers don't really look abandoned or old. So the port is probably operating up to this day, but the reason for collapsing up these containers here remains unknown. Maybe they are secretly doing something on this island, who knows? There is also a volcano on the island, but I don't think it's been very active in the recent centuries, but probably the island was created by the volcano. BeamNG exists in BeamNG's world. Containers, liveries, air conditioners, flags. There are a lot of places where you can find the BeamNG logo in the game. So the company exists here as well. And they also have a video game which is called BeamNG.drive. I wonder if the BeamNG.drive in BeamNG.drive have car brands in them that are real in our world but fictional in the world of BeamNG.drive. However, it's weird that an industrial corporation has a video game. Humans do exist. If you go to Italy in the game, you will find a lot of billboards and advertisements portraying humans. So that's a proof that they exist in the world of the game as well. The fact that they are not displayed in the game is simply just the limits of the simulation, since a video game doesn't exactly take place in the fictional world of the game. It can only give a limited, interactive 2 or 3 dimensional representation of it. The deepwater. Automation and Rigs of Rods lore. Rigs of Rods was the predecessor of BeamNG.drive, and some of the content available for this game contains car brands that we can see in BeamNG. For example, Gabriel and Burnside. So these car models probably exist in the BeamNG universe as well. And there is a game that BeamNG shares the lore with. It's called Automation, the car company tycoon game. The reason for this is that the Automotion test track can be found in BeamNG.drive. And according to the license plate, it's on New Zealand, but some of the signs say that it's actually in Kurupae. But I don't know if this is a town, a region, a state or a country. There are also 5 different countries in Automation. They are Gesmia, Helvetia, Croinia, Arca and Daluha. I'm probably mispronouncing all of them. So there are more countries in BeamNG.drive, or these are just regions of New Zealand. Or maybe New Zealand is different in this world and it's like the United States, and these are more or less independent states in it. Automotion also exists as a company in BeamNG.drive, and it's probably some automotive company here. Bernstein didn't go bankrupt. According to BeamNG's old documentation, Bernstein was founded in 1953. And it also says that Bernstein retired in 1985, and now their business status is defunct. But on some maps you can see its logo next to car dealerships, meaning that Bernstein is active on the car market up to these days. So it was probably refounded or something. Illegal garage-to-garage deliveries. BeamNG.drive features a special scenario where you need to drive a random car from a garage to another. What's strange about this though is that there is no time limit, there is no penalty for crashing. The only thing that matters is to reach the destination, whatever it takes. You might transport something that is more valuable than any car in the game, something that is even more valuable than time, since it doesn't matter when you arrive to the garage. And it's probably something small because you can't see any actual cargo. What's also weird is that there is traffic but there aren't any police cars. Maybe we are working for some kind of a mafia? Maybe the world of BeamNG is more corrupt than we thought. the abyss. BeamNG owns everything. I've already talked about that BeamNG logo is displayed in various places, but things get interesting when you notice that the logo also can be seen on police vehicles, meaning that BeamNG owns some of the police forces around the world. Who knows what else they own? Maybe they are some megacorp like by and large in Wall-E. Grid map and grid small pure. The game features two maps that are just too unnatural to be real. One of them is grid map and the other one is grid small pure with endless ground, sky and nothing else. Could it be a dream world in BeamNG? Or is it something like heaven? Or maybe it doesn't actually exist. It might be just a creepypasta in BeamNG's world, similarly to the backrooms in our world. Dry Rock Island. In 2015, the 0.9 update was released and the map named Dry Rock Island was removed from BeamNG.drive as Jungle Rock Island became its official successor. And the map was pretty weird. It was an abandoned industrial island with BeamNG containers laying around in random places. There is also a town on this island which is a bit depressing. Maybe the developers planned this place to be something like an online lobby or community place. Maybe in the lore it was built to be some kind of a vacation resort, but for car friends. Maybe the building materials were brought to the island in these containers. Maybe this was the first project of the in-game BeamNG company, or it was the headquarters of it, because there is something on this island I couldn't find anywhere else in the game. The BeamNG logo, but on a building. It's a simulation in BeamNG's world as well. This theory explains a lot of things. So BeamNG is a company that exists in BeamNG's world, and this in-game BeamNG made a software called BeamNG.drive. And this is what we are actually playing with. It also explains why the logo is everywhere and why there are maps like a grid map. It must be some kind of a science experiment where people are trapped in a virtual reality without a body and ability to be a virtual human, instead being able to drive cars and fly around the maps. Maybe AI drivers are real people as well, and these strange maps still hide more dark secrets. Well, this is one of the theories, but there are two others. The second is that the lore is simply broken. And the third is that the world of BeamNG is different from how it is displayed in the game. For example, those BeamNG logos are not there and the grid map doesn't exist in the lore, only in the game. As I mentioned earlier, a video game is just a semi-accurate representation of a fictional world, so if this is true, and it's probably true since this is the most logical explanation, then half of the things I was talking about just don't make sense, but at least we have some answers. To be honest, a proper lore is what I'm missing most from BeamNG. Yes, I know it's just a driving game, it doesn't have any story, and I don't say that this is a problem with the game, but with this amount of fictional stuff that are more or less connected to each other, it would be pretty nice to have an overall story of what happened and what is happening in the world of BeamNG.drive. Anyways, I'm curious about what you think about the lore of BeamNG, or which theory you think is true. And also there might be some things that I didn't mention in the video, so write these in the comments. Thank you for watching and thanks for AssettoHosting for sponsoring this video. See you next time.